Yeah, I think another thing that I wanted to show you guys, which I mean, I used OpenAI for some query, and it fascinated me that it gave wrong answers, but it gave wrong answers in a very confident tone, as if it's getting the right answer. Like, for example, if you ask them to some obscure, I won't say obscure, but let's say some classical poem, and you want the poem to be you want OpenAI to discover. Let's do that if possible. You have OpenAI tab open. So, for example, can you say David Thorburn, Thorburn? Uh, oh, no, no, no. I think John Crow. No, no, can you delete that? John Crow, Crowe. His John Crow Ransom, Ransome. And his poem is Captain Carpenter.
That's the prompt.
No, just say John Crow Ransom's poem, Captain Carpenter. Wait, can you write the poem? Yeah, this is all fine.
Okay, I'll ask it to write.
Can you give me the actual stanzas?
Pretty strong words for a poem.
Okay, okay. I'll tell you the funny part. How many stanzas are there? Can you give stanza-wise analysis? Why don't you write that? Wait. See, this is what I'm saying. Uh, I think it's giving all the wrong answers. The actual poem is about 13 stanzas, but it will probably tell you it's six stanzas, and it will mix up some of the stanzas, and it will give you some obscure thing which is not even there in the poem. Okay, but it will make you think this is the actual poem. Wait, how many stanzas is it? Can you scroll down
Still
all the
going
way?
down. It says that there's 5. Okay.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you, right? So when it gives this answer with such confidence, and this is a factual thing, you can actually check in somebody's textbook. It has like 13. I have this paragraph, poem in front of me, and it clearly has like 13 stanzas, and it gives you five. And some of the times, what it does is it makes up stories on the go. Let's say it wants to say something bad about the character. It just makes up stuff, which is not even there in the poem, which for a young person who is supposed to write this for an exam, and if they write this, I think it'll be horrible. So
Even
always verify the answers. Well,
even
for
now,
example, stanza 3, he had two wounds that had to bleed. Of course, there's nothing like that in the poem. Okay,
Oh,
it just made that up on the go. Two wounds that had to bleed symbolize visible physical injuries, one that would never. Yeah, there's nothing like that. So this stanza 4 is non-existent. It just made it up on the fly. So what it's saying is, so this is a factual thing. There is no subjective. You just have to take it from somewhere and reproduce it, and it's not able to do it because it answers every question. So what I'm trying to say is it answers every question like this. So it thinks what might be approximately true and approximates every answer. So if it is doing it in math problems, so you can imagine the problems that will come about. Once in a while, they'll get all the right. So for first stanza is pretty correct. After that, it's all junk.
so
So
So what if we write the same prompt in DeepSeek R1?
That's what I wanted to check.
We
If
can
anyone
check
Yeah.
it
can,
out.
do you have DeepSeek?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do the same thing because it's factual. It's not like math or whatever. John Crow ransoms. Because this is not a
Just to be
subjective
fair,
thing.
I'm gonna turn off the search feature off. Let's just see. Do you want me to use the V3 model or the R1 model?
Yeah, let's use anything for now.
Okay.
Let's use the simplest one to the most complicated one. Yeah, the first paragraph is correct. Second one is not. Flourishing virgins with lovely young. That's non-existent. It's making stuff up. See, I'm just telling you. I think
Same.
what I think it's doing, it's taking answers from OpenAI,
Okay.
and I think because this is not even there. The second paragraph was it was a pretty lady and all her train that played with him so sweetly, but before, and now she had taken a sword with all her mane and twined him of his nose forever. But that's not what it says. So they took his sword, they took his bow. It's just making stuff up. So what did we discover from OpenAI? So how many stanzas? That'll be like an interesting.
I, the stanzas are completely different. It's talking about a surgeon and a herbalist in ChatGPT, and here it says about flourishing virgins and whatnot.
How many stanzas did DeepSeek give?
The
DeepSeek
actual
gave
stanzas
me
are 13, and none of the models gave the correct answer.
this one gave 14,
The
15,
14.
15, 15 stanzas. Okay.
Okay, so what's the
15
last
total.
paragraph?
It says
The
Captain
last one.
Carpenter rose up in his shroud and he swore that he would never ride again.
The rose up in his shroud, and he swore that he would never ride again, but he went riding out in his last cloud with a different lady and a different pain. That is not the last paragraph.
So it's just making
Okay.
its own poem, I guess.
It's just making its own stuff. What I'm trying to say here is this is a factual thing. So this is exactly how it answers all the other questions. So it thinks approximately true. But the theme of this Captain Carpenter is an anti-protagonist poem. Okay, it's about a man's search for meaning and how he is not able to do all the things that he had planned and all his failures. He just recounts all of them. The theme is correct, but it's not giving the actual thing. So the actual theme is correct. So what I'm trying to say is OpenAI, DeepSeek, all these models get the theme right, but the content is completely, it just makes things up as we go along. And this is like it takes some standard form and ask it, it'll give you whatever it thinks is correct.
Even
What do you
I
think?
So,
experienced a similar thing in math while I was doing our research. So when I was asked it to give me some unimodular matrices, it went on giving me matrices whose determinant is not -1 or 1. So it went on giving me the determinants like other than 1, like 2 or 3, something like that.
I think the last time I gave you that, I asked that problem in the class, right? Wherein so I gave the same problem. It gave me a wrong answer, even though the eventual answer is correct, but the intermediate step is wrong. So that means what? It's just copying from somewhere and it is approximating. I don't think it's even doing what human beings do. It's just doing some copy,
But
copy
when it
this,
comes
copy
to
that.
math, I guess DeepSeek has better performance metric than OpenAI models.
I think the
Yeah,
way the
that's what
approach,
they.
I
So
think the
let's
way,
look at the other. I mean, this is fine. I just wanted to show you guys how this was so bizarre. Actually, there was a poetry event, and I went and I used OpenAI because I couldn't read all the poems. So there were like 10 poems to read. So I'm not going to read all of it. So let's give all the poem names. And I realized the actual poem is completely different than the actual, the poem that OpenAI described. So it's always scary if you're not read the book and if you're using OpenAI to go to a book meet, you're gonna have some issues.